Good morning. How y'all feeling? All right. I'm Jaimelle, a financial well-being coach with Operation Hope. Operation Hope is a nonprofit organization that teaches financial literacy. Nice to meet you guys.
Good morning. My name is Brenda Berjan, and I am a personal banker with Wells Fargo. And I have over 6 years of experience in finances. So over the years, I have developed a strong relationship, a strong passion to help customers feel confident when making financial decisions and also achieve their financial goals. So that's what led me to become a banker financial coach.
Hi, good morning. I'm Frida. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Debbie Rewards. We are the first and only rewards program for financial wellness. Think of us like credit card points, but reversed. Instead of getting a point for every dollar that you spend, you get a point for every dollar that you save, for every dollar that you pay down in debt when you reduce spending. Today we partner with 14 different financial institutions across the US, and we're growing. And we're really proud to help everyday Americans, the 99%, get rewarded for good financial habits. Like all good founding stories, mine started with a sob story. I grew up in a family that always struggled financially. I grew up with a single mom who wasn't college educated, immigrant. And a lot of people will say, I just had this conversation earlier with Jaimelle, that we had, people will assume that it's, financial literacy. You need to educate the poor people who don't understand financial literacy, and therefore they make poor choices. Maybe a small portion of it is because of financial literacy, but a really big part of poor financial behavior is behavioral. It's emotional. It's very hard to make good decisions in everyday life when there are so many incentives for bad decisions. Every time you spend, you get points, you get nice stuff, you get cash back, you get merchant loyalty, so many nice things that you get to have when you make probably not the very good decision for you. On the other hand, when you're making good decisions with your money and you're putting your hard-earned couple of dollars in a savings account towards your debt, it might not feel as rewarding, and that's what we're here to change. So really excited to be here, and let's start this game show.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody, again. So what we're going to do today, based on the title, the presentation, and what we're doing, we are going to hear from a couple of personas who are now learning about their lives. And they're going to come up and ask about, this is the situation I'm in. What would you guys suggest that I do? So we're going to see some coaching, some advice giving from our panelists based on their experiences and expertise. While that's up, the audience will also have an opportunity to sort of give their 2 cents or 5 cents or $1.50 or whatever through the Slido. So will persona 1 come up? It says at the top, it's 1 or 2. So Monica is going to give a quick monologue about the type of situation she's in, the type of help she's looking for, and then each of our coaches or each of our panelists ask follow-up questions, try to get to the meat of what she's trying to get at, and while that's happening, you can be putting in your own stuff. So, Monica, go ahead. What's your situation?
So, I lost my job. I lost my job 2 months ago. I was laid off. I was an entry-level data analysis, working single parent with a kid, making $75,000 a year. And with that, my rent is $2,100 a month. And my child's other parent is not in the picture. So, my take-home was approximately $2,100 biweekly. I had withholdings with Medicare and the amount after I had monthly insurance. Thankfully, I was able to get COBRA. My former employee put me on COBRA for 3 months. And besides a small severance, I'd only been there for 2 years, and so that was all that they offered me. Neither me nor my child have any extraordinary health expenses, thank goodness. But besides rent, utilities, groceries, gas, after-school programming for my child at $450 per month. That sounds like a deal. And $250 per month for student loan payments. I was able to stash a little bit of cash away each month. for irregular expenses. But student payments started at the end of 2024 and would end near the end of 2028 if all things work out. Should I keep going?
No, I think we probably, let's see if any of the panelists have follow-up questions, thoughts, comments, things that you would, if someone came with this sort of situation, what sort of things would you start telling them or asking them to get more information? Yeah, please.
All right, so you know what? This one hits home for me because I am a single parent and I have lost a job before, so it does get scary. I think the first thing I would start with is developing a very strong mindset. First, you have to know whatever you're going through, you will get through. And having that mindset would allow you to, it will open the doors so that you can become more financially literate and develop strategies. So if I were in your shoes, I would first work on whatever it takes for my mindset, journaling, working out, therapy, and then I would start preparing a mindset. Preparing a strategy. And one of the strategies that I really love is Dave Ramsey. He has a strategy where every dollar has a job. So with what you're working with, I would make sure to budget to the T.
I can add to that. So I also think that when you are in a situation that you have a cognitive overload, you've got a lot of things to think about right now, you're really anxious, and so you really want to think first small. You want to think about what's my 5-year plan, how am I gonna get out of my debts and get rich. You want to think about how am I going to make it through the next 90 days, and then break it down even farther, like how am I going to make it to the next week, the week after that, and kind of build your plan bi-weekly with really, really small baby steps to take control. I think that what happens in a lot of situations like these, also I've experienced this as a child many times, you lose control. And when you lose control, that's when you can spiral. You're like, oh, I have no control, I give up. So you've got to figure out what are small steps you can take to regain control of your life. So that's mapping out what are my must-have basics right now that I absolutely have to pay for. Are there any things in that group that I can maybe postpone payments? Can I work with my student lender or anything else to figure that out, right? Like, so really thinking about in the next month, how do I take care of my bills? And then slowly, once you're feeling a sense of control and you're getting back to your feet and you can think about what you can breathe and you can start thinking about what's next and making a plan for getting another job, etc.
So we know that losing a job is not just a financial disruption. This is a moment when the right guidance will prevent crisis. So as your banker financial coach, I would recommend you to focus on 3 priorities. First, we want to be able to protect the essential. We want to be able to work on cash flow and also probably create short-term goals. So when it comes to cash flow, we will have to get a right understanding of what your numbers look like on a monthly basis. So you mentioned you get $3,000 monthly, $2,100 goes into your rent. So immediately we know that housing is gonna be the biggest pressure point. So that's something that you wanna tackle immediately. It could probably talk to your landlord, or negotiating terms, or probably looking for a more affordable housing. When it comes to protecting your money or the essential, I would suggest you to look into budgeting. So focus on the essential: gas, utilities, you have a kid, childcare, transportation, and also look for other opportunities to get immediate help. For example, you have a student loan, so maybe look into a student loan deferment to free up some cash flow, get some health insurance coverage before your cover ends, and look for other benefits that you can qualify for. So at the same time, we can also work on increasing your monthly income, maybe through work gigs or temporarily work employment. And as your banker financial coach, my role is to provide you with structure and also ongoing support. So this is not just gonna be a one-time conversation. My role is to make sure that you don't fall behind and you take control of the situation.
You all are good. Thanks.
Well, let's see if the audience agrees, or no, I don't mean agree with panelists. I see agree with the type of advice. A lot of student loan, break things. Wow, this seems pretty similar. I think we're all in alignment. So it can be trimmed from expenses, a lot of student loan forbearances. That's great. Things that you would tell the audience. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I haven't seen a Slido go to multiple pages, so I don't know how to, okay. Oh, use Claude. I'm sorry, use Claude to analyze your resume and ask for recommendations or employers. We'll make sure that everything, compare COBRA to ACA plans. Look at this. Look, this is great. When I lost my job, ACA didn't exist, so I was in real trouble. But this is great. So thanks for this. We're going to keep this going. We'll have an opportunity to talk more about this and provide more. Nadia looks so ready to do the next one. And then what would you tell? So Nadia's story isn't so much one of I'm in a tight spot. It's more like how do I move forward from this position? So Nadia, please.
Sure. Hi, coaches. So I'm an auto mechanic, and right now I work for an independent dealer, and I make book time. So my pay is variable. I take home about $900 a week, and I have a dream to start a small business, and I'd like some help. So a couple things about me: I love my husband. I love animals, and I am very handy, and I love social media. And I was on TikTok the other day with my husband that I love, and we saw this new trend about people going to people's houses, and they have treadmills in their van, and dogs are running on them, and we thought, oh my God, we could start that business because we're both really handy and we like spending time together. Now, he's a teacher, but like, kids are way harder than dogs, and so we decided we were going to do this. And so what I would like is some advice about how to start my dream mobile dog gym business. And again, because we're super handy and we like spending time together, we're not super worried about maintaining the equipment. In fact, my employer at the auto mechanic is willing to give me an old panel van, and I just have to start by fixing it up. I have a lot more detail in here about my van fix-up analysis that I've done that I'm not going to bore everyone with. But I should also share that while I want to start this small business, I do have to maintain other aspects of my life, and I do have a pretty hefty mortgage. I pay $1,600 a month. I have almost $200,000 outstanding on my house still, and things are good, but my HVAC and roof are like about to go. So things are not that good, actually. So yeah, let me stop there, even though Lawrence gave me 3 pages of notes. Right.
So folks on the panel, thankfully, not every conversation you have is with someone who has got a foot on a banana peel, right? It's someone's like, hey, I don't know how to take this step forward. I'm kind of okay, but like I want to run dogs on a treadmill in a van. Oh, okay, well, so what would you tell someone who's kind of in this position looking to take this next step? And Nadia is so ready to be with her husband all the time, apparently.
In a small van.
In a small van.
All right, I love this one because sometimes having opportunity, it's like, great, there's this opportunity, but it's also very scary. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna always circle back on mindset. You have to get your mind in the game, and you have to develop a mindset where you're not scared of I call it a scarcity mindset, where you're so tight on things. So what I do with my clients at Operation Hope is I meet them, I understand their goal. I understand your goal is to start a business. The first thing we're gonna do is create a budget. I wanna know how much money you're making, where your dollars are going, and how much you have left over in savings. Then I wanna take a look at your credit. What opportunities are there? Could there be business funding? What strategies can we use based upon your credit file? And then I create an action plan once I review your budget, your credit, and your goals. And then I'm going to walk you through, put you on an action plan. We're going to understand the number of days, and I start with 30 days. You're going to have 4 tasks to complete, and we're just going to continue to knock this out until we complete every action or every task on the action plan. So that's it.
Frida.
Okay, 10 out of 10 performance. Probably did well in theater. First of all, how many people here have started a business ever? Anything? Okay, a lot of us. I love it. I think it's something that is so exciting, and I totally agree that you should not. I think that one of the things that's really difficult if you don't come from a place with a lot of money is you don't give yourself even the opportunity to take risks. You're like so scared. Like once, especially for me, I could say like I finally got to a place where I was working on Wall Street. I was making a higher salary than anyone in my entire extended family. And I was at this fork in the road. I was like, okay, I can go start my own company, take a really, really big risk, and potentially make it really big. But that means I'm giving up the stability that I worked so hard to build. I'll give you the kind of advice of how I went about it. So when I started, I had an amazing co-founder. You have your amazing husband, sounds like, so that's good. You have a partner. And you want to think about how do you together you make the big risk a little smaller, and you do smaller iterations. So first of all, yes, for sure, you want to save, you want to budget, you want to make sure that you're okay. But then also you want to think about what's the smallest way that I can test this, I can jump in without betting my house on this project, right? Without like completely, putting my entire foundation at risk. So maybe that means you don't. Maybe you take the van, but you don't yet start working on it or invest money in it. But you start doing this doggy gym out of your house. You do it small. You get a group of friends who will express interest, and you do a small pilot with them, and you figure out, is this working? Are people willing to pay for this? The other thing is you're going to find out as you go that there are a lot of things you didn't think about when you started this business. So even when you start small, like you're going to realize one day that a doggy maybe broke their leg and you don't have insurance, and you need to be thinking about that. And you have no, if you didn't test it out small, you might get yourself into bigger trouble. So you want to figure out how to start really small. And also something that my business partner and I did, she continued working. So we had an agreement between us. She continued working at her regular job. She made money. We actually lived together, so it helped. She paid the rent. And I was working on getting our business together. And then we also had a timeline. We said, okay, I'm going to go without a paycheck for 6 months. And if we can turn this into real business by then she'll quit her job too, and we'll go all in on it. And that's exactly what happened. So I would say start really small. Think about ways that you could build like the minimum viable product, the smallest bit without risking everything, and build up from there.
Super helpful, thank
So,
you.
Brenda, before you go, just real quick. So this is, my coworker is doing this. I didn't just come up with this on my own. We have, for anyone in Charlotte, Melina Dixon runs Run CLT. She and her husband bring a van to your house, and they run the dog on the treadmill in the back. So anyone in Charlotte, let me know. I'll make sure you get her information.
Well, now I apologize for...
No problem. Her and her husband have a great relationship, so it's fine.
Okay. I thought this was made up.
I mean, names are changed to protect the innocent until I just gave the name. I'm sorry. So, Brenda, go ahead.
Okay, so as a banker financial coach, to me it's important to celebrate the customer's successes. So you have a lot of good things going on for you yourself, and recognizing what's going right and what you're doing right is important. So first of all, you and your family have a home with equity. You have a stable income that's coming in monthly. You also have retirement started, emergency funds. So this only tells me that the dream that you have comes from preparation and not desperation. So this is great. The first thing we want to do is protect the stability that you have created for your family. And I would encourage you to focus on creating a true business budget, looking into maybe licensing, insurance, gas, marketing, a saving fund for the business as well. And also, I will encourage you or empower you to create milestones. So let's start with building your business legally, or search up insurance and the cost of it. Also create a pilot, like she mentioned, start small. So we want to be able to test the dream before risking the financial stability that you have worked so hard for. And as your banker financial coach, again, this is an ongoing situation that is not just take one conversation, and I will be here in every milestone that you hit to celebrate you as well.
Thank you. And do you have fitness exercise?
So I think that before I let Nadia go, so for someone that comes in that has sort of like progressive planning, right? I have these things I want to do, and I'm at least coming from a flat point. Now I'm trying to dig out of a hole. Like in particular, someone who's looking for entrepreneurial, either for here in Atlanta or whatever. Is there at some point, after a few meetings, like, oh yeah, they've got things sort of figured out. Like it's not going to ruin them if this thing kind of falls flat. Like, is there somewhere you send them, like an incubator or something like that? Is there at some point do you sort of pass people, not pass them off, but send them somewhere?
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I said, you know what? I forgot to say one very important thing. At Operation Hope, we have a small business team. So we have small business coaches available where they can hear about your small business and do the same thing that I'm doing with the credit and money management side. So you have a small business coach assigned to you. You then go to workshops and understand the goal, and you have this access to this coach free of charge. And even the service that I provide as well is free of charge. And I'm also located in the Wells Fargo branch. Like I have an office there. So partnering with your local banks and financial institutions and asking questions like, hey, what tools and resources you have for me will get you over to that small business coach or credit and money management specialist like myself.
You, Nani, appreciate it. Thank you. Round of applause for our volunteers, please. Okay. Again, let's see what y'all think. If you had any other, man, are you typing on your phone, these paragraphs? So we've got keep a job, let a job fund the business. Got it. Your HVAC and roof about to give out is solid. Sorry, because I'm sorry, I don't read very well. So you've got people talking about that, doing market research. Yeah, I don't know if Nielsen has a lot of dog walking in vans, but look, I don't know. I'm not. I don't work with Nielsen. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, if it's on TikTok, it's already too late. If I hit this, yeah, I'm sorry. So it does go. Okay. So sorry. But I'll make sure. I like how everyone's. What I'll do is I'll make sure these are all published. We'll get them on. I'm sure we'll get them on the app. So someone from Emerge, let me get them on the app so everyone can see these ideas. So in the remaining time left, I'm going to ask a couple questions to panelists, sort of bring this together a little bit, and then obviously more than happy to hear more thoughts and comments from the audience. So I'll start with, and Frida, will start with you, particularly for the work you do with Debbie. Like, what is the typical, I don't want to say user experience, I don't walk through like how the app works, but like, what is the folks that we came and heard from, ranging from I'm getting into trouble to I'm okay and looking to grow to I just need guidance. Like what is the user? I'll say user experience, but I don't mean in a technical sense. What's like the user experience like for Debbie, for folks that are sort of in this range?
For sure. I have to say also, number two, whoever wrote this second comment before, clearly you've tried. You probably were one of the people who raised your hand about the starting a business. I think, for Debbie, first of all, we actually do have a range. People will assume a lot of times that when you talk about people who are deep in credit card debt or struggling financially or looking to improve, they assume that means that you're a paycheck to paycheck, you're making a really low salary. That is absolutely not the case. I think I read a stat somewhere that like 60% of millennials are carrying credit card debt month over month. We actually get a really wide range. Yes, we have people who are below 30K in household income, and we also have people who are over 150K in annual income. So it really, financial struggle comes in all kinds of forms, and it's not necessarily struggle. Sometimes it's a question of, should I start a business? How should I get into a good savings habit so that I can bring myself to a position that I can start a business? So the way that Debbie works, essentially, there's a few categories. I think the main pillar is, like I said, the incentives. It was really important. That's like the core thesis of our business, and really what we've proven out is that if you get that dopamine hit every time that you make a good financial decision, you are more likely to make that decision over time. You're more likely to continue doing it. So if every dollar that you're putting towards savings immediately, once you've made that transaction, you get a notification, bing, you just got points because you added money to your savings, or once you made a payment, you get that positive reinforcement. So that was it. That's the main, that's like the biggest part of the experience, and that can be applied to any goal. It can be applied to paying off your debt. It can be applied to adding to your savings, to building that, your emergency fund, or even like your house fund, or whatever it is that you're trying to work towards. The next thing we're adding is actually investing, getting people to not be scared, especially people who, like me, did not grow up with this mindset, did not think about investing, or so scared of starting. So we create that initial inertia, right? Like to get you started, to get you to be motivated, and then to get you to want to keep committing to trying this out and growing. The second piece, which is really important as well, is our education. And like I said before, I think financial literacy, while it's great and important, at least in my opinion, is not the thing that is going to get people out of, whatever financial struggle they have, or it's not going to get them to think bigger. It's really very behavioral. So we took a completely different approach, and instead of educating our users about what's APR, what's compound interest, we talk about what did you see at home growing up? What is a scarcity mindset? How do you, when you found yourself binging, right? When you sort of felt really badly about yourself one day, you went and bought something really expensive. How do you come back from that? How do you not give up? How do you talk to your loved ones about money? Because I know that's a lot of times a struggle. It's not a given. A lot of people have a really hard time talking to their partner about money. We've gotten users who've told us, I'm trying to become more budget conscious, but my partner is really not in the same mind space. How do we talk about this? How do we not break our marriage? And how do we figure this out? So the financial education is a really, really big piece of it. And the last one, and I think also probably equally as important as the first two, is community. We have a really, really strong Debbie community where people can talk to each other. They can post anonymously, or they can post as themselves. And there's a lot more awareness. As soon as people realize, okay, there are other people in the same boat, one, it reduces the shame, which I think is the key to getting started. You cannot get anywhere. You will never want to face your fears, your struggles, if you feel ashamed. So we built a really, really strong community where people could talk about what they're struggling with, can see that other people are in the same boat, and also could just get support. Like sometimes you just need people to cheer you on. I think the single most important thing that we could probably do as a financial services industry is celebrate wins. Like tell people when they're doing really good. We've gotten very good at telling people when they're doing badly. We're not very good at celebrating when they're doing really well. So that's something that we focus on in all three areas, but the community as well.
Okay, so to build on that, I think both for Jaimelle and Brenda, what is it going to take to get more? And I'm sure you guys are slammed. You see people all the time. But assuming we can clone you and get a bunch of you out here in Atlanta and everywhere, for people to come to the Operation Hope office or come to the branch, what's it going to take to convince the folks we'd like to talk to come in and actually talk to you? What sort of outreach efforts work? What sort of things could we be thinking about to get to help them move into this positive mindset?
So, as a banker and financial coach, it's not so much about convincing the customer. For me, financial wellness comes from understanding that each customer has a unique experience. And that's what's gonna bring everything together, because understanding the customer, their childhood, how they grew up, how the relationship they have with money is gonna be able, I'm gonna be able to create a connection with them through empathy and guidance. So I build trust, first of all. A customer will open up to you once you have trust. And then education comes, and then empowerment comes. So this is, for me, this is the compound that's gonna help the customer feel confident and supported when making financial decisions.
And to add to that, I would say, when I tell you, you really have to build a very, very strong mindset. And like she said, build that relationship with our clients, because if we really understand people's relationships with money, it really starts from their childhood and things they've experienced. And sometimes it can get scary thinking, oh, well, my mom, she invested in a business and we lost all of our savings. So we have to get them out of that scarcity mindset. One thing that I am doing is making sure that I'm out in the community partnering. Like I talked to Frida. Once I found out about Debbie, I downloaded Debbie open that account because I want to test it out to make sure that it's working for my clients. I partner with personal bankers as well. They tell me what their clients are going through. So the cool thing about what we're offering is that we're all communicating with each other to bring this awareness to the world and really make an impactful difference to everyone.
That's great. Sorry. Man, if only there was like a score or metric that sort of talked about how confident and comfortable people were in their financial health. Does anyone know if that exists? I don't, really? No? Okay, all right. It does exist, and Financial Health Network runs it. So I'd like to go to the audience here in just a second. So if you have questions, thoughts, comments, either for the audience or you want to give your favorite Jaimelle Harden monologue and talk about being in jail, we can do that. But if any, I want to open up for any closing comments, closing for this presentation part, and then leave some time for the audience. So yeah, we'll start with you, Jaimelle.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so honored to be here. I just want to say I'm super, super passionate about helping people and building financial confidence. And I just want to put out there that once you make it up in your mind that you want to do something, you can absolutely do it. Please know how powerful your mind is. Please know that I think 41% of people that are more successful when they actually write down their goals. Could be even more than that, but build that confidence, write down your goals, set up an action plan, and if you can't do it by yourself in ChatGPT, then come see Jaimelle at Operation Hope.
Yes, as a banker financial coach for Wells Fargo, I am very honored to be here and be able to share how coaching conversations are impacting customers' life every day. Communities, they are being educated and they're making better choices financially. So, so the Banker Financial Coach program is not in every branch yet, but the way it's looking, we're going to be growing, and it's a great role that Wells Fargo has added to be able to help the customers at no cost to them.
I think if there's one thing that I would love to hopefully inspire some of you in the room, if you can, to do, and something that it was a dream of mine. I remember when I worked at a large bank, one of the things that frustrated me the most was that we would have these customer-centric sessions, and I was like, some back office credit risk role, building risk models, and we would sit there and have these sessions and pontificate on what we think people are going through. And we felt we were so far removed from the end customer, and for me, I tried to keep bringing that voice up because I felt like I had gone through the struggle. I understood, but so many people who I was working with didn't. And you will never, even me, like I don't know what every single person goes through, right? I still don't really understand. So something that I incorporated in our company that I wish and hope that maybe some others can do as well it should be something that every financial institution does. Make sure that every single person on your team speaks to customers on a regular basis. We do once a month, every single person on our team, no matter what the role is, it could be an engineer, they could be anything that they do, they will sit in front of 4 different users and they will have a 15-minute conversation with them where they talk about what they're going through, what's happening in their lives, how the product is working for them, what they like, what they don't like, what could we do better, what bugs they experienced, anything. And I think that changes the entire fabric of how our team is built. And I can see that my team, instead of thinking about, let's build cool AI features because I saw this on TikTok or Twitter or whatever, they can come back and say, oh, I spoke to this user and they said X, Y, Z, so I went and did some research and I found that there's a really big opportunity to build this feature that can help people. I think if more financial institutions, like if you have the ability to create this, to find a way to connect professionals in your team to end consumers and have regular conversations, it's not just a good strategy because, it's a nice thing to do and it's good for the mission. It will actually I think it's going to directly impact the bottom line. It's going to make your business better. It's going to you're going to be able to offer better products and you're going to have happier consumers. And if you don't have the ability to talk to consumers, because at some banks it could be really difficult, come to us. I'm happy to offer our Debbie users, they want to talk to anybody who wants to listen to them. So if you want to find out how your team can chat regularly with consumers, then we could do these open office hours. So yeah, happy to talk to anybody after this as well if you have any questions.
Great. Brenda, if we have 4.5 minutes, you need to keep me honest. Any comments, questions, monologues, soliloquies, secrets, allegations, hot tea, anyone who wants to share? Just raise your hand. If not, that's fine. We have a couple minutes left, and the panelists will stick around. I'll stick around. You can give me your complaints, give them your compliments. So let's give the panelists a round of applause, please.